let's shift focus to Nigeria. It is Africa's largest economy. It is among the observers at the summit this week. The country is also experiencing tough economic times thanks to a drop in oil prices, its key export. Now, the country is not part of the BRICS, but it enjoys enormous bilateral relations with some members of the bloc, like China, for example, which is one of its biggest investors. But the question is, could Nigeria benefit more if it were a member of the group? Well, CGTN's Deji Badmus sat down with an economic expert to discuss some of these issues and began by asking him if South Africa has been effective in representing Africa on the bloc.
We've seen a situation where these 5 or so countries that the aging growth of the world economy have actually slowed down drastically. We've seen a situation where Brazil has gone into a recession with a negative GDP growth in 2016. We've seen South Africa also now in a recession. So you find out that the growth, the BRIC countries is basically being driven today by India and China. We also see that the Russian economy is relatively struggling. So the key underpinning assumption that these 5 countries will drive global economic activities is not likely to materialize by 2050.
Well, that's all for now from Shaman Mahia. It's back to you in the studio.
Uche Okoronkwo, thank you very much for those updates and keeping us posted. Uche Okoronkwo joining us live there from Xiamen and will be giving us all the background and build-up to the BRICS summit that kicks off on Sunday. Well, let's get more African perspectives ahead of the BRICS summit from Gabriel Idahosa. He is a financial consultant and now joins us live from Nigeria's commercial capital, Lagos. Gabriel, Nigeria and Guinea are the 2 West African countries invited to the BRICS summit as non-member observers. What opportunities does the BRICS bloc and the proposed BRICS Plus approach offer for West African nations?
The BRICS platform provides another layer of engagement between the countries who are already members of the BRICS and those who are invited. There are other larger areas for engagements like the World Bank and the IMF, but in the BRICS you have a smaller number of people, a smaller number of countries who can engage directly and address common issues. So that is a layer that is useful, and the countries can use it to address issues like peer reviews, share common experiences in economic policy, in trade issues, and able to make some agreements among themselves that they can quickly implement rather than wait for the much larger platforms that provide opportunities for cooperation. So it's a significant opportunity for the countries that are there and those that are invited.
And Gabriel, what do African nations need to do to leverage the emerging cooperation and trade opportunities presented by groupings such as the BRICS?
There are opportunities that are not available in the larger platforms, because on a one-to-one basis and as a small group, they can bring up issues like trade, bring issues like cooperation in areas where they have complementary capacities and needs. The countries like China and India have capacities that a country like South Africa can directly benefit from, and those who are visiting can discuss these ones outside the framework of very large organizations like the World Trade Organization. So those opportunities can be used to address things like investment in niche areas where these countries have specific investment opportunities which can be offered to other members of BRICS. And the BRIC countries can give specific offers that are not encumbered by large multilateral agreements. And these opportunities are unique. There are niche areas, several niche areas where all countries in BRICS and those invited can take specific opportunities. There are areas, for example, in capacity building that countries can share their experiences in economic policies and implementation of those policies. There are areas where some countries in in the BRICS group are far ahead of others, but there are also areas where some countries in the BRICS are ignorant of what is happening in other countries like South Africa, maybe Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea, that a lot of these other countries do not have deep knowledge of what is going on there beyond what is available in the public domain. So this opportunity gives them the ability to go very deep into their issues and be able to find niche areas that ordinarily they will not be able to address in larger platforms.
All right, Gabriel, thank you very much for that insight. Gabriel Idahosa, who is a financial consultant, joining us live there from our studios in Lagos.